Good morning, art students. So here's the second part that we're doing on the perspective worksheets. I've given you those handouts. This is the worksheet of the next one. You've got this being shown to you already. Study this and try this one on your own. I'm not going to demonstrate it, but it's showing you how that can be done. And I'm going to walk you through a few of these. Here's the simplest one. And again, I want you to use rulers. I'm not going to use a ruler because it's, well, I suppose I can. For the sake of expediency, I may freehand some of it. But for all of these, they provide the vanishing point. So I want you to draw those same letters that are on this page that you have, and I want you to indicate the vanishing points in about the same spots that they have them. And then I want you to use converging lines, horizontal lines, vertical lines, and in some cases parallel lines, which may actually be at other angles. And I'll show you what I mean. So this being the vanishing point here, that means we can see the front face. Because this vanishing point's to the left of the object, we'll see the left side. Because this vanishing point is on the bottom of the object, we'll see the bottom side. Now, the vanishing point's not up here, so we don't need to draw any lines from here. We only need to draw lines from the points that correspond to the side the vanishing point is on. So this point, and this point are all we need to draw for this. So I've drawn that first converging line. I'm going to do this. There's another one. Do this. And there's the last one. So now all I need to do is draw a horizontal line and a vertical line. And again, you get to decide how deep you want this to be. So I'm just going to decide that I want it to be about this deep. I could have made it longer or shorter, but just enough to see it there. And now make sure that horizontal line is parallel to that. Don't make it crooked, don't make it too high or too low. Now here is where this line will go straight up, parallel. That's another good reason to use your rulers, parallel to that line. Not beautiful, huh? You get my drift. Might have been better if I set that up a little better, huh? Hopefully you'll do better. I free-handed this. I want you to use your ruler when you draw, though. I'm going to go ahead and shade the side of this. So this converging line to this point, this converging line, this converging line. So that shows the edges of that. That L looks pretty bad. I apologize. Now over on the A, this one is going to be a little tougher. So this is, again, below the A, so we'll see the bottom side of the A, but it's not to the right and it's not to the left. It is a little right of this, though, so we'll see inside of this area. Let's make our converging lines first. So I'm going to need a point here, 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 and here. So I'll go ahead and draw those converging lines to the vanishing point. They're converging to the vanishing point. Now I want to complete the A. So that's going off to infinity right now. I want to make a certain depth. I'll choose how deep I want to make it. And I'll start again with a horizontal line. Make sure it is parallel to that and not crooked. This isn't exactly vertical. This is at an angle. So I'm going to, rather than try to worry about, all I need to do is make it parallel. So if that's at that angle, then I make that at the same angle. This is horizontal. I'll come in and make it horizontal. This is at a different angle. So all I need to do is from that point, make that parallel. And then we're, again, horizontal. Now over here, there's actually a side we're not addressing. Now I didn't have to draw any points here, but if I were to kind of invisibly come all the way through, that would actually come through like that. So now that's complete. I can erase this in the center, but I kind of lightly drew through it to see where that should end up. So now this is in perspective. I kind of do maybe a little shading here and there. Can make some darker in others to maybe a little contrast at the different edges there, so you can see how that was done. And of course, if you want to come through and kind of make those lines dotted, I don't want you to erase them completely, because I do want to see that you're really drawing the converging lines. Now, if we're making final artwork of some sort, then yes, in the end, you do erase all your converging lines. But I want to see your work with this practice stuff. Now this E gets a little tricky. So make sure the points here, I'm going to have to draw a point from here, from here, from here. Now this is being blocked. So if I kind of imagine a line going through there, if it's going completely through the E, then it's something I won't see. But if it's not going completely through the E, it's something I will see. So let's do this. There. There. Again, I do want you. Now this one is a different line. It looks like it's going to overlap right on that same one, and that's okay. There. Now this would go through it, so I don't need to draw that. This one doesn't. This one. And this one. So all of that is going there. And this gets, sometimes students get a little confused at this part. Again, start from the outside or someplace that's easy to understand and decide the depth. Once you decide the depth, then you set the depth of everything based on that. So I'm going to decide I'm going to make this that deep. So there's that section. Now all of these are going to be vertical and horizontal. This is horizontal. And now this just goes straight down. This line is coming from here. This here, I'm going to kind of come straight down to make sure it's the same depth. I can come do that down here too. Make sure that's the same depth. Now over here, this has already been established how deep that is. I can kind of come straight down. That's how deep that is there. And then I can come straight across with my, that's pretty narrow there. So that gets a little bit, this one sometimes is a little bit confusing for some students. So that's the E. Now this W over here is the same idea as the E, but the E is all, just like the L, all horizontals and verticals. Well, like the A had some angles where we have to do parallel lines and not just horizontal and vertical lines. That's going to be true of the W as well. So this, where it lines up on the W, I won't see anything out here or below it, but I will see above it. I won't see anything out here either. So converging lines from all of these points. Now from here, if I tried to do a converging line, it would be inside that W still. So I don't really need to do anything there. It's kind of running along where that line already is. And over here, converging line. Now, how deep am I going to make it? I'm just going to decide. I'm going to make a horizontal parallel line over here. And now the depth of everything else will be decided based on that. So that's how deep I made that. So here, this isn't vertical or horizontal. It's just an angled line. So I just want to make this parallel, meaning it's equidistant, the same distance on that end as it is on this end. Here's the middle of that. So I'm going to come up and make this parallel to this. That. I could also kind of, if I want to draw an invisible line, I can kind of establish that all the way across there. Close that up. Now, here, it's at an angle. I'm just going to make a parallel line. If I had drawn this a little bit differently, I might have been able to see the inside of that, but I can't right now, so that's all fine. So there you go. That's how you do these letters. On top of doing these examples and doing these letters, I would like to see you choose a letter, a different letter. Challenge yourself, and you can do more than one. Maybe do your name or something, or your initials. That might be even better. All three of your initials if they're different than these. Try a D, try an N, try a Q. Circles, ellipses. I'm gonna go ahead and do an O just so you can see, because that one's like, well, how do you do that? That doesn't have any corners on it. Well, for that, I'm going to use this same vanishing point. For a curved thing, you just find the outer edge and go from the outer edge to the vanishing point. That's all you do, the outer edge to the vanishing point. And then decide how deep you want it, make a parallel line to the curve, and then decide how deep you want it up there, and that's all there is to that. So when something's curved and it doesn't have a point like these do, then you just find the outer edge. And that's all there is to it. So go ahead and do that at least one letter, but I'd really like to see you do your initials. Bada boom, bada boom. Video over.